Hey everybody. So I first want to just thank everyone who has been sending their love and their support and sending good vibes to me. I really do appreciate it, and it does mean the world to me when I have like so much love and support coming my way. So I first just kind of wanted to say thank you for that. But I also wanted to go ahead and make a vlog and just kind of update everybody on where I'm at right now and how my doctor's appointment went. So for those of you that don't know, I have a chronic pain condition called pelvic congestion syndrome, which is basically like having varicose veins, but in your pelvis. And so those varicose veins had actually wrapped themselves around my organs, primarily my uterus, my ovaries, and that is actually what led me to be getting my hysterectomy last year. For those of you that don't know that, I had everything removed except for my right ovary last year, April of last year, in the hopes to reduce the amount of blood supply that was kind of going into that area to try to help those varicose veins. Now, I went into this surgery fully knowing that this may not correct my condition. Pelvic congestion syndrome, it's a tricky condition to try to treat because it actually shows up in people or women. It presents itself differently. Varicose veins can kind of go wherever, and it can, even though the blood, it starts to reroute itself basically and can start causing problems in other areas. Now, I also have an area that is of concern, and I see my vascular surgeon on Thursday to have some further testing done because they are of concern that I have an area that's basically right in around the kidney. And basically, it's kind of like the kidney and this vein are basically, they're being compressed. So the kidney and the vein are being compressed basically, and it's called nutcracker syndrome. So I need to go in and make sure, one, that this condition is not happening. It's suggestive because I have a lot of what they call refluxing, which means that the blood starts to pool in that area and it's not going back up the way it should. And usually that's happening because there's a compression happening. So I have to go and have that reevaluated. I've seen my vascular surgeon before. They had done some testing, but they didn't do further testing like they needed to. So now, today I saw my original surgeon who performed my my hysterectomy. He's amazing. I love him. If you live locally to me and you ever need to go see a specialist gynecologist, I highly recommend him. His name's Dr. Isabel, and he is through Evergreen Hospital. He is great. I love him. He has done a lot of my surgeries recently. So here's where things get real fun and maybe a little embarrassing. So I feel like, I was like, great. Every time I have to share these types of vlogs, I looked at Kyle and I was like, I feel like I get to just bear all and it's a lot of stuff that I don't maybe necessarily want to share. And probably some people would be like, I can't believe you said that on video. But I don't share my journey to, I don't sugarcoat anything, and I know I have a lot of women who follow me that have had hysterectomies or have pelvic congestion syndrome or have other issues, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. I would rather just be real and honest and open with what that could be going on, and so I'm just going to lay it all out there for you guys. So here's where things are going to get really fun and maybe really embarrassing, more so for me probably than anyone else. So I just need to brace myself for that. Okay. Anyways, so I go in, I see my gynecologist, the specialist, and he checked everything. And my vaginal cuff looks good. For those of you that have had a hysterectomy, basically the vaginal cuff. Oh, thank you, Kat. I really do appreciate that. The vaginal cuff is basically where they remove your cervix. For those of you that don't know what that means, it's where they remove your cervix, and that's just the incision site. So you check that, everything there looks good. My pelvic floor looked good. Those were all things that were of concern. So he, though, was concerned with possibly, based off some symptoms and some things that he had asked me, which I'll be real, I don't even think I want to go that in detail, okay? we'll see if this is the problem, I think, before I even bear that much live, okay? Like, there's some things I just don't know if I can say, which says a lot for me. But he was asking some questions, and he said, I think you have a prolapsed colon. And I was like, freaking awesome. What the heck are we getting? What is that like, right? So he recommended that I go see, on top of seeing my vascular surgeon, because he's concerned that I have both things going on, that he's like, I know you have pelvic congestion syndrome in there. That's always going to be there. It's not ever going to go away. We just have to kind of manage symptoms, right? And hopefully get things better. But if I have the nutcracker syndrome going on at the same time, which is a compression with, like I said, the kidney and everything's refluxing, and then I have a prolapsed colon on top of it, everything's just smushing together. It's just a nightmare in there. This would make a lot of sense actually with the prolapsed colon. There's a lot of things that I've had that I've just kind of like been like, oh, it's just because everything's pissed off. Lately, if you don't know, my pain levels have been so bad that it's been hard for me to walk. It's hard for me to stand for long periods of time, hard for me to sit. It's hard for me to lay down. I can't lay on my left side for long periods of time. I've not been sleeping at night. And right now I've been having a really hard time eating anything. I've been able to drink, thank God, my Shakeology. That's like one of the only things that I seem to have been able to stomach and it not cause severe pain. So at least I'm getting nutrients into my body. But I'm basically, anytime I try to eat anything, I'm having a lot of pain and a lot of swelling, and this would kind of make sense because of the prolapse. So I have to go in, I have to see them, but it's like, I mean, great, dude. Like, I didn't have to talk about any embarrassing things down there enough. Let's talk about my freaking butt, right? Like, let's make that more fun, shall we? So that's a little embarrassing. I obviously have, shared, before, like my issues with my hysterectomy and those things. But just so you know, like, this is obviously can be a common thing for a woman, especially a woman who has had pregnancies or, vaginal births, things like that. I never had a vaginal birth. I had 2 C-sections, but still pregnancy can cause this, like it can cause pelvic congestion syndrome. I've had bouts of really bad constipation before in my life. If anybody remembers watching any of my vlogs for my hysterectomy, I had a really, really bad bout with it. And so all of these things compounded can cause problems. I think after talking to him more in depth, it sounds like I may have had this for a long time and just wasn't aware that this was going on. So like I said, I want to kind of talk to the doctor first and figure out if in fact this is what I do have, because if I do, then I will make a very detailed, I'll make a detailed vlog sharing all of these things, because they could be warning signs of that you have a prolapsed colon. And if you're like me, there was a lot of things that I just kind of dismissed and I didn't think anything of it. So I don't really know if I'm quite there yet to want to say things, but it's still embarrassing nonetheless. So I wanted to share it, let you guys know how I'm doing. Obviously, I'm going to see the vascular surgeon. Now, here's the thing. My gynecologist, he stated, he's like, if you go to the vascular surgeon and everything looks good and you don't have nutcracker, if you go to the colon dude, I want to call him the butt guy. Sorry, the colon doctor. I can be an adult for 5 seconds, right? The colon guy, then, and that all checks out. The next step is basically he would do another laparoscopy to go in and look around and make sure that there's no adhesions that are possibly binding, because that's another thing that can happen, especially after a lot of repeated surgeries. I have had 2 C-sections, a laparoscopy, a gallbladder removal, and I've had a hysterectomy. That's a lot. So there's a possibility still of adhesion. So hasn't been completely ruled out. The only way they can do that is by going in and looking all around. And then the last thing he said he would do, like the very last thing he would do, is removing the last ovary. He does not want to have to touch that sucker, right? Because then I would have to go on hormone replacement, and I'm 36 years old, and I would then have to be on hormones up until I'm 50. And I don't want to do that. I've spoke to many women that they've had to have both their ovaries removed, and all of them have told me, like, that's not obviously a walk in the park. So I don't want to have to do that either. The surgery for a colon prolapse apparently is not a walk in the park either. He warned me, he was like, that surgery is really gnarly, so let's just cross our fingers and hope that that's not the case. But then again, the surgery for nutcracker is not a fun, there's surgeries for that aren't fun. So right now, we just need to send a lot of healing vibes to the pelvis area and hope that this gets all sorted out, because as you know, if you've been following my journey for a while, this has been going on now for years. I mean, I got diagnosed with my pelvic congestion syndrome in December of 2015. Is that when? Or 2014? I think it was 2014, the December 2014. It's been a long time, okay? And I'm really quite over it, and I'm tired and I'm exhausted and I haven't been sleeping good and I've been in a lot of pain. I had to stop working out again because it's just too much pain right now. So yeah, there's that. So I just kind of want to share all of that and share about my colon because I don't need to talk about that region enough. So if you're a guy and you're watching that, that's fine. You don't need to listen to this. This is definitely not for you. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for being so supportive. I'm going to go back through and read all your messages. I really do appreciate it. And if you are somebody who is post-hysterectomy, if you're somebody who has pelvic congestion syndrome, if you're somebody who's had a prolapsed colon, anything, you have questions, you have advice, or you have tips, or anything you want to hear from me, if there's something you want to hear more about, or maybe you want me to make a video vlog that's basically sharing all of the embarrassing things that I have already noticed, that because from what I've seen or read, the things that I am experiencing can be things that could be suggestive of a prolapsed colon. So maybe I could make a vlog separate that's literally saying like, hey, if you have these symptoms, you should go get seen. Because I'll be real, one of them, when he said it, I kind of was like, how do you know my secret shame? Like, how do you know that? Because it's not something I go and ask my girlfriends, hey, do you do this when you go to the bathroom, right? So it's like, who asks that of their girlfriends, right? I certainly don't. I don't think I'd get invited back over to come hang out and drink wine with some of my girlfriends if I asked them weird questions like that. But if that's something you would like for me, I'd be more than happy to do it for you, because like I said, a lot of this stuff I share because I really truly just want to help other women that are in my position, and I just want to make sure that they're getting the help and the support that they need, because I've watched a lot of vlogs out there and they are not nearly as honest as maybe as I've been through my journey. So I'm always one to take one for the team and be as real as I possibly can. So let me know if that's something you guys would like. I love you guys. Thank you again so much. I am gonna go relax. I got a little bit of some medication because I need some right now. I'm in so much pain and I just need to lay down and rest and get some sleep. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you more later. Okay, bye.